Welcome to Jet Set Duet.
In this episode, we will guide you through the lush landscapes,
Going to the waterfall.
sizzling beaches,
Finally, some sun.
and rhythmic beats of Brazil's cultural capital, Rio de Janeiro.
From the iconic Cristo Redentor to the sultry rhythms echoing through its streets, Rio is a sensory feast that promises to set the stage for the most unforgettable honeymoon experience. Will it be a secluded beach, a candlelit dinner with a view, or perhaps a more thrilling view?
Get ready for caipirinha sunsets on the beach and the samba in your hearts.
Brazil is by far the largest country in South America, where it is the only Portuguese speaker. With a population of 6.7 million, Rio is its second most populous city. We started our adventure at Miami International Airport.
No, that's not true. Brazil is in the tropics, and without the typhoid and yellow fever vaccines well in advance, we were not going anywhere.
Back to Miami. We arrived at 8 p.m., but a 4-hour delay and a 2 a.m. takeoff got us in the city by 11 in the morning. After a 30-minute Uber through the city, we finally reached the glorious Copacabana Palace. What a place! And we were celebrating its 100th anniversary. More on that later. We were ready to explore after dropping off our luggage, but first, Casa do Câmbio. At 4.7 real per US dollar, we exchanged a good amount of cash, and along with a no foreign transaction fee credit card, we were set. Jet set, that is. We walked to the end of the beach strip until we reached Forte do Copacabana. Our first refeição was the typical white rice, black beans, farofa, and chicken, for an amazing price of 86 reais, or about 18 US dollars. The tip is already included in your bill, and it is about 10% if they charge tip at all, so what you see is mostly what you get in Brazil. After walking back and making sure to take the parallel streets, not just the main touristy road, we found a bustling city with thousands of nooks and crannies. You find so many people selling their wares on the street, but also luxury stores right next to cheap shops, which is a zoning mishmash in the US.
We had amazing winter weather the first day, and the sky was clear. The hotel room featured a coffee room, living room, master bedroom, shower, with a tub, along with several balconies with an ocean view. The water was chilly, but he had to try it. That Friday, we went to a local market with music, artisans, and food. Across the street, we ate at a beachside restaurant with live samba, of course. We were stuffed from bacalhau bites and caipirinhas. An amazing vibe featuring stadium lighting, people playing football, volleyball, and football-y late into the night. Day 2. After witnessing a gorgeous sunrise, we had to check out this legendary breakfast buffet. beautifully located by the pool, we were soon off to change when we were greeted by the local Samba sounds.
The Jardim Botânico was founded in 1808 by King John VI of Portugal. What a collection of trees, fruits, and flowers. A beautiful place to spend the day in peace.
This is the Jardim Botânico.
We were particularly amazed at the cannonball tree, although we never saw it in bloom. There are several large birds, macaquinho or capuchin monkeys, and the much larger and louder howler monkeys.
We ate lunch at the park and, much to our disbelief, a great Brazilian feijoada at a great price. We are so used to tourist trap misgivings at attractions in the US that this was a welcome surprise.
Gigantes. Every plant here is medicinal.
They even had an orchid sanctuary with all kinds of species. Due to very high winds, they kicked everyone out of the park. But all is well. We returned to the hotel and relaxed by the pool.
We scouted Me and got reservations well in advance. If you like sushi, this is the place for you. We ordered the 9-course omakase and thus began our food adventure.
Inside you have the washcloth for your hands. People also ate this sake, soy sauce, and dashi.
After an impromptu photo op, we headed to another restaurant for after-dinner shenanigans. This bartender is the absolute best in the city and was crafting winner after winner.
Wow!
Went to eat. And look what they did. They put us actually
These are not even ours.
towel.
It's 10 o'clock at night. I was reading this book here, and they gave me a bookmark.
The details.
Day 3. Sunday breakfast never tasted better. A feast for the eyes, as you can see.
On Sunday, they open this up, and you can go on the world-famous Copacabana Beach on the streets. As you can see, the people are lining up, and they are doing whatever activities, jogging, running, dogging.
Now we're heading to the Mirador.
It's a very gay-friendly city, as we've seen. And people on Sunday, they play their soccer. Look, football.
A refreshing view at the end of Leme. This region is marked by a walkway that wraps around it where surfers and fishermen meet. We decided to climb all the way up for a better view.
Well, the Sugarloaf Mountain is a little foggy today. As you can see, we couldn't go to the top, so we found this fort. It's called Forte de Leme, and we're able to access for free. It's a 20-minute climb, and you get to see this beautiful view.
This is a great vantage point for Pal de Azúcar, one of the most famous sites in the city, with a cable car that affords panoramic views. We found more macaquinhos at the top, and of course, a South Florida favorite, the jackfruit.
We were given a small tour of the historic hotel and discovered that it was a casino for quite a long time. It has its own theater with its own show based on the hotel's origins. We also got to tour the penthouse where seemingly every celebrity in history stays when they are in town. Yes, the private rooftop pool really is black. Here is just a small taste of everyone who has stayed here.
We made our way to Mirante do Leblon, which is usually an expansive panoramic view of the city, but the rain did not collaborate today.
So we're here, it's kind of cold and raining. We went to the Mirador, but the only thing we saw is our asses leaving. Yeah, and a random tree.
We have to find a place to eat now
that's not cold and wet.
Luckily, Boteco RIOAPRAZI came to the rescue. The bar and restaurant had tiles everywhere, reminiscent of another part of the city we would soon visit. They featured a feijoada, but we opted for something a little simpler. The hotel gifted this nice box of brigadeiro after we went on the tour.
I got it to open.
After champagne and a warm bath, it was time to brave the elements in search of pizza. There was a great place nearby, and within 30 minutes or so, we had our meal in hand.
Pedestre vai ajudar e acaba lavando pure.
Day 4. On this day, we trekked to Lapa, despite the safety concerns and the crime rates. One of the places we couldn't miss was the Escaderia Celarón. Hundreds of tiles creatively crafted by different artists depict every country and even states and provinces.
There's little shops, little restaurants inside as you walk through the steps.
We went hunting for Cuba and found it. We also discovered a theater, restaurants, and shops hidden within the different floors. We made a quick stop to the Arcos da Lapa Aqueducto da Carioca. The aqueduct was built in the middle of the 18th century to bring fresh water from the Carioca River to the population of the city. It is an example of colonial architecture and engineering from the Portuguese.
We made our way to the Catedral São Sebastião. Once inside, it looks like a pyramid because the design was modeled after the Mayan architectural style. The cathedral has 4 huge stained glass windows, 64 meters or 210 feet high from floor to ceiling.
It's peaceful. It just feels like you can reach the heavens.
The church is dedicated to Saint Sebastian, the patron saint of Rio de Janeiro. Next, we made our way to the Arsenal da Marina.
So we came today to the Museum of Tomorrow. That's the name of the museum. Except it's not open today, it will be open tomorrow.
The Museu do Amanhã is an impressive building. This whole part of the city was renewed for the 2016 Olympics, and the architecture seemed very familiar to us. Sure enough,
The Milwaukee Museum of Art.
it was made by the same architect behind Milwaukee's Art Museum, which we did get to go inside of, by the way. The Spaniard, Santiago Calatrava, is a legend and responsible for very famous projects. We continued wandering through the city in search of our next target, and after some light hiking, we reached this jewel.
Monasterio São Benito.
Mosteiro São Bento is one of the oldest monasteries in Brazil. Founded in 1590, just 24 years after Rio itself, it is the second oldest religious house in the city. The Benedictine monks who built it took over 150 years. The architecture and interiors are stunning examples of Brazilian colonial art. Like many monasteries, you can't help but feel at peace in this building, regardless of your spiritual background. There was so much opulence that the eyes didn't know where to look first.
Back in the middle of the city, there's a very downtown feel to this section. Despite being near the Atlantic rainforest, we are immersed in a deep urban center with a bus system, subway, and tram service. It was time to visit one of the most iconic places in South America for dessert. Confeiteria Colombo isn't just a bakery. Founded in 1894, it is pure elegance.
Look at this line.
With crystal mirrors imported from Europe and intricate woodwork, it's no wonder royalty swung by for a visit. But it was not to be. Way too crowded.
Knowing the Portuguese penchant for books, we made our way to a Harry Potter-looking place in the center of the city. The Real Gabinete Português was voted the 4th most beautiful library in the world by Time magazine. There's even a secret room that holds rare books and manuscripts dating back to the 16th century.
Traversing through the narrow streets, we decided to join a familiar queue. On this rainy day, the sun shone through stained glass in this palace of sweets.
Pastel de Belém. Canela.
Cappuccino de Colombo. It's so good. The whipped cream tastes like ice cream.
Superfluous.
Três. Doce do leite. Tá bom.
Feeling guilty, cold, and wet, we made it back to the gym and the spa at the resort. But soon, it was time to go out again. We Ubered to Leblon and brought our appetite to Giuseppe Grill, a steakhouse with a very grounded feel. Featuring several floors, exposed meat refrigerators, and refined decor, it made the perfect backdrop to a night on the town.
Day 5. After a good amount of city life, it was time to get into the rainforest. With our guide and his handy Jeep Wrangler, nothing can stop us now. Today we were going to the heart of Tijuca National Park, the world's largest urban forest with 15 square miles of green space right in the heart of the city. The air is crisp and the vegetation lush as you keep ascending through the mountains. There are 30 waterfalls here, and although it's refreshing in the summer,
Going to the waterfall.
in the heart of winter it is a totally different tale. The stones are slippery, so if you have some water shoes, this is the place to use them. You do feel refreshed, but the first 30 seconds are pure hell.
The mountain features great views of the city, but as you continue to climb higher, temperatures get colder, and the mountain fog really starts kicking in.
Water's already ready here.
Cloud.
Completely foggy.
Vista Chinesa.
The Vista Chinesa offers a breathtaking 360-degree panorama of Rio de Janeiro, but not today. In the mid-19th century, Chinese laborers were brought in to plant rice, but these guys had no agricultural knowledge and were used to make the precursor of the road you see today.
This little guy with the long nose is a coati, a distant relative of the raccoon. All throughout the mountains you see a colonial legacy, some plantations with separate outhouses, small chapels, and even a convent. This spectacular multi-level waterfall was surrounded by fruit trees, including this false banana tree with inedible fruit. Bummer.
Just look at the biodiversity in this place. From plants with sharp spikes that can really leave a mark, to vines of a tree that naturally make a rope. It turns out that the storm that kicked us out of the botanical garden was the one that wreaked havoc at this location. Tijuca has a network of caves, and these climbers were near a small crevice used to access a cave system. Once inside, it was interesting to see how the sediment level over the years has raised the ground floor several feet. Eventually, this cave will only be able to be accessed by rappelling from the top.
Oh my god, I thought I was falling. I thought
Once outside, you feel the cool, damp air from the surrounding forest. This place used to be a coffee plantation after all. Back at the hotel once again, they had a surprise for us.
We just got back and we got this nice little card and these 2 drinks and this, which is from Rio.
Today's rays of sunshine were reserved for the sunset, where we took in a beautiful view of the landscape. With no time to waste, we got dressed and made our way to RIOAPRAZI. This 4-story establishment is nestled high atop Santa Teresa. This bohemian neighborhood was once a fashionable neighborhood for the city's elite. Grand mansions from the 19th century still line its streets. It features one of the oldest trams in the world, offering great views. RIOAPRAZI utilizes a lot of wood textures in addition to the lush greenery, evoking man's mastery over nature. The views go on, all accompanied by a cool breeze. With so many levels and dimly lit crevices, it felt like a great place to play hide and go seek. We ordered an acai appetizer, in addition to fish and chicken main dishes. A mango sorbet to top it off, of course. The surrounding area has many photogenic locations for shoots. Returning to the hotel, it was time for a nightcap at our favorite bar. Day 6. At the crack of dawn, we heard the mountains call for adventure. Located near Baja da Tijuca, Pedra Bonita boasts the longest hang gliding ramp in the world.
What are you feeling now?
I'm really scared.
It was cold and you could barely see past the thick fog that would leave only to return. As the people scraped in, it was now our turn to fly.
Okay, here we are, Pedra Bonita, São Conrado, Rio de Janeiro. We are 1700 feet inside the national park area. Hello guys, good morning. Are you ready? Bom dia, vamos!
Ah, the look of ignorance.
I was feeling like I was about to faint when I took off that rock. Words cannot express it. I've skydived before, but when the adrenaline hits me, I felt an out-of-body experience. The takeoff is a blur. Thank God for the video footage. Once again, peer pressure and the FOMO made me do it. But once in the air, the entire thing looks like a video game.
Maybe subconsciously, after so many years of playing Zelda and Genshin, I was ready to paraglide. The view belies the fact that you are so high off the ground. Gavea Beach and the mountains are so close you can almost touch them. You slowly glide through the air until the end, where you pick up tons of speed as you dive and then make a sudden stop that your stomach will regret.
After a few minutes in the air, I started to get very dizzy and felt like fainting, which is when I told my guide to bring us back down or I might throw up.
Urca is a beautiful neighborhood at the foot of Pau da Açúcar. Resident Roberto Carlos can sometimes be spotted here. After our tumultuous morning, a nice, slow-paced afternoon ride was just what the doctor ordered. This place offers very peaceful views, and local fishermen flock to try their luck. Once on the catamaran, we set sail and traversed the harbor. All the typical city sights surrounded us in what was a unique vantage point to see the Cidade Maravilhosa.
Home to the iconic Museum of Contemporary Art, Niterói offers a more relaxed atmosphere and hidden beaches, some only accessible by boat. With the Santos Dumont Airport nearby, we caught several flyovers. What a serene way to spend an afternoon.
Now it was time to go downtown for some nightlife. Rio Scenarium boasts 3 floors of musical delight. And keep a lookout, this place is popular for celebrities, so dress to impress. Not only was the music great, but the food was fantastic and the price was unbelievable. So paying a small cover fee is more than just. Samba classes were being taught in the 3rd floor, and we even noticed Americans for the first time in our voyage. The place is filled with antique decor across every level and is a great nightlife destination.
Day 7. Rising an hour earlier than yesterday, we made our way to Cosme Velo and even beat the employees by at least 30 minutes.
We are the only people here, and the sun is just coming up, and things are unfolding beautifully so far.
It's a little cold out here, but we're the first ones, so we're definitely gonna go and see it. I was hoping to see the sunrise, but we won't. At least I'm not jumping off a rock today. The Corcovado tram is the oldest tourist attraction in all of Brazil. Inaugurated in 1884, it is a tourist staple. After waiting for another 30 minutes after everything opened, we were very happy to be on our merry way up the mountain. About as tall as a 12-story building, Cristo Redentor took about 9 years to build. In 2007, it was voted as one of the new 7 wonders of the world, solidifying its place as a global landmark. Centrally located, you can see across the bay and even catch glimpses of the iconic Maracanã. Once the world's largest stadium, it holds the record for the highest attendance ever at a football match, almost 174,000, just like the Martin Stadium in Miami, right? Featuring a hit parade of landmarks, you get unobstructed views of the Rodrigo de Freitas Lagoon.
Back at the hotel, we had our usual breakfast and we were off to Copacabana Beach. The DJ Alok was set to play a show commemorating the 100th anniversary of the hotel. 1 million people showed up.
Finally, some sun.
These were great waves today for body surfing. And the way the light hides behind the mountains and reflects off the sea mist is what gives these photos an ethereal feel. Tonight, we planned on staying local and walking one neighborhood over into Leme.
There are so many beautiful and affordable restaurants lining this beach that it was tough to choose. That night, we went for Italian cuisine, and it didn't disappoint. Arancini and pasta are always a winning combo.
Day 8. Getting up bright and early is the best way to start your day, especially when accompanied by pastéis de Belém. If you need to go shopping in Rio, consider this place.
This is Rio Sol, the shopping mall.
This mall had at least 8 stories. We thought it would be a second-rate mall since it's not in the upscale Barra da Tijuca neighborhood.
Land of football. Every team is here represented. Every team.
It's an interesting mix of highbrow and lowbrow shops. Although on Sundays, many shops may close. There's authentic feet for all the pervs out there. And this lingerie store seems to be marketing towards elderly women. You would never see this in the US. With our shopping done, it was time for a short ride back to Copacabana. We met a lovely couple from Australia and had several conversations about differences in culture and perspectives. It was nice to be back on the beach, and Sunday is a great day to do it. We finally got to enjoy the pool since the weather cooperated today. We even had a lovely poolside treat.
In a spur-of-the-moment decision, thought of by me, we went to the favela tonight. A word on favelas, the name comes from a tough plant that grew on these hills, and it is a fitting plant. Initially called barrios africanos, the first residents were either former slaves or soldiers. As people sought opportunities in the city, the population boomed in the early 20th century. Initially, they had no plumbing or electricity, although more recently, the government has focused on upgrading them with services and integrating them more formally into the city.
While still impoverished, it's estimated that over 1 million residents live in one of these favelas. Many are controlled by drug traffickers and gangs, and violence can sometimes occur, so it's advisable to go with a local. Don't wear jewelry and only carry the cash you absolutely need for the visit. For 20 reais, you can board a very crowded small bus, wait for the entire thing to be filled to the brim like sardines, and go up the steep one-way road. Apparently, the police are not here often, but when they are, everyone has to go in reverse and allow them access. Everything seemed a bit chaotic, with tons of density, different sounds and smells. Another 20 reais for a couple of middle schoolers to walk us about 20 meters for our supposed protection, of course, and get to our final destination. We then reached Bar da Laje. It has a great view. A cover band was playing and locals seemed to love this place. It was fantastic to see the sunset from this vantage point. Curiously, I didn't see anyone eating, just drinking. The kitchen was closed by the time it was 7 p.m., which was strange. The very friendly manager, who spoke just a bit of English, brought the kitchen back up to make a chicken just for me. I was a bit shaken up since the Portuguese of the middle schoolers was very difficult to understand, and I just spent all my cash, since I purposefully brought very little.
That meant we didn't have enough money to go down the mountain and pay for our so-called protection. The manager bailed us out by exchanging dollars to reais and personally walked us to the bus, bypassing the youths. Whew, what a relief.
Day 9. This was my view of the hotel suite. I never slept.
My Rio.
That chicken was way undercooked, and I spent the entire night going from the bathroom to the sofa. Nothing worked. Either way, we had a day trip to Sao Paulo, and I had to get better, but could not even trust my own flatulence and had a spicy surprise on the way. The Sao Paulo airport was large and more like a mall than an airport. Sao Paulo is the largest city in Brazil and features over 21 million in the greater metro area. It's noticeably colder than Rio because it's a mile above sea level. It's filled with skyscrapers and density like I've never before seen.
This is a Japantown. It's called Liberdade.
Liberdade.
And we're about to eat some ramen at Ramen Soup.
Liberdade houses the largest Japanese district outside of Japan, with over 600,000 descendants living nearby. The neighborhood was established in the early 20th century when the first wave of immigrants arrived, featuring Japanese architecture, gardens, and of course, cuisine. This place has amazing quality, and the price was quite fair, although no longer the bargain that Rio seemed to be. We sat next to a local couple that told us in plain English how stupid our adventure was last night, and how a clueless tourist was slain for shooting a Facebook Live video at the wrong place at the wrong time, in the favela. Noted. We walked the streets of Sao Paulo and noticed a lot of income disparity, tons of wealth juxtaposed with poverty, San Francisco or even New York style.
The Avenida Paulista is one of the most famous avenues on the continent, almost 3 kilometers long. It dates back to the 19th century when it was lined with the mansions of wealthy coffee barons. This place is nothing like Rio. We saw pet pigs, several LGBT middle schoolers, and a cosmopolitan kind of culture. Every proper city needs lungs, and the Parque Trianon has over 25 acres of green space amid this dense urban forest. There are bonsai trees and pagodas, as well as sculptures and, most importantly, rest. The architecture in the city is sprawling. There are buildings as far as the eye can see. After a delay in our flight, we were ready to take the red-eye back to the States at last.
Use the comment box below to leave your feedback. Have you been to Brazil? Do you like it? When are you gonna go? Let us know.
Stay tuned for our follow-up video where we give our do's and don'ts.